So Pooh Shiesty drops a new album. It's still under 1017, which really don't make no sense, but it's still under 1017. Like Gucci say, you crashed out, but you still signed to me. So at the end of the day, it's still business. So Pooh Shiesty drops a new album, All Eyez on Shiesty. He's already facing a federal kidnapping and robbery charge, sitting in federal custody. And the album fire. Like I say, man, Pooh Shiesty, I give it to him, with his Memphis accent, his street credibility. You could tell he was active in the trenches because the way he put his words together. But, some of these songs and these artists really don't understand that a lot of these lyrics is self-incriminating. But what the problem is no one's been convicted from their lyrics just of yet. Pooh Shiesty is kind of in a situation not like that with his lyrics, but they definitely, this album that just dropped, given the charges he's facing, it kind of could come up into the trial. Hey, look at this dude lyrics, look what he talking about, because he talking about activity in prison, carrying a shank in prison, putting hits out on people. I ain't put hit on nobody in 3 years. Draco's buying pistols. I mean, we could say Pooh Shiesty got a vivid imagination. You know what I mean? And a lot of artists are trying to hang their hat on that once the police get involved. Hey, look, I got a vivid imagination. This is for entertainment purposes only. I have freedom of speech. Nothing I say in my lyrics was actual events. They try to minimize the music once law enforcement start to looking at their songs with a magnifying glass. But before the police get involved, they drop them albums and let you know I stand on business. And you already know I rap when I'm living. But then when the police get involved, this is for entertainment purposes only. And they not going to keep letting that fly. Because what's happening is these guys are dropping these lyrics, and I ain't gonna lie, Pooh Shiesty got a hot album. It's nice. It's under 1017, and Gucci still, I think he's, Pooh Shiesty signed to 1017, and I think 1017 maybe is signed to Atlantic Records for distribution purposes. I'm not really for sure how that worked, but Pooh Shiesty signed to Gucci, and Gucci has some type of major label involved in what they're doing over there at 1017. So, like I say, man, Pooh hot. First day out hit the #1 billboards. The music industry was kind of like falling off a little bit. Pooh Shiesty come home, he dropped that. You know what I mean? First day out. And that song was hot. I ain't gonna lie, it was fire. Everybody jumped on it. It hit #1. As of right now, that song is certified platinum. Pooh Shiesty come right back with the new album, All Eyez on Shiesty. I'm pretty sure, if you look at the situation him and Gucci is going through, I'm pretty sure when Pooh was doing those songs, I don't think Gucci probably had access to those tracks. I don't think he was actually doing those songs in the studio with Gucci. I believe that Pooh was in custody. He dropped first day out. Gucci got the rights and everything to that track. Pooh probably got a little bag off of that, I'm pretty sure. And because of the buzz, that new album that he just dropped now, All Eyez on Shiesty, I'm pretty sure he's sitting in federal prison thinking, if I do release these songs I got, it's going to do some pretty good numbers. I'm pretty sure Gucci feel the same way. And then you got to realize Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty Daddy is out on bail. They're all co-defendants. Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, and Pooh Shiesty Daddy is all co-defendants on this federal kidnapping and robbery case. But Pooh Shiesty Dad, because of business reasons and other stuff that, his lawyer talked about to the judge that he need to be out, they gave him bail and they granted Big 30 bail. So I'm pretty sure his dad got out, had access to the music. He talking to his son, hey, I did it at this studio. Tell him give you the masters to it, blah, blah, blah. They probably need a few dollars, and behind the scenes, even though we feel like Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane ain't getting along, I believe behind the scenes, Pooh Shiesty Dad and Gucci Mane came to some type of financial agreement where his dad will give Gucci Mane those songs and Gucci Mane would drop that album. But Pooh Shiesty will be financially rewarded once that album is dropped. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Pooh, like I say, if he had ill intentions toward Gucci Mane when they did that meeting to kidnap and rob him allegedly, you know what I mean, then I don't see where he came home and started dropping all these songs that he figured was going to go on All Eyes on Shiesty, and he just was automatically giving Gucci access to it. So I feel like, you know, he dropped the Fresh Day Out, you know what I'm saying, First Day Out, and you know, just because of paperwork, Gucci gonna receive, you know, financial compensation for that because that's his artist. Pooh Shiesty is the artist. I'm pretty sure, you know, he received some type of financial compensation. I heard online that he had a song with Glorilla, and I don't think Gucci was trying to approve that being released. So I think that was a little problem. I think he did a feature for Glow. I think Glow was trying to contact the proper people to release the track, and I think Gucci Mane would not allow the release. So that's how come we never heard that track really of Pooh Shiesty and Glorilla, which you could probably think now that Pooh Shiesty just dropped his album, Glorilla might have an opportunity to basically drop what she got if she contact the right people, maybe go through Gucci and holler at him. But I think she might not be able to, because you have to remember, all this stems, this Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty situation stem, I believe, from Yo Gotti offering Pooh Shiesty a huge sum of money to come over there and sign with Yo, you know what I'm saying? And Pooh Shiesty start figuring, you know what, I need to go over here with Yo Gotti, get my bag. They from Memphis, all the artists over there from Memphis, and to him it probably was like his only right to go rock with my people. That's where I'm from. So he probably hollered at Gucci, hey look man, this is the move I'm trying to make. I'm trying to go over here with Yo Gotti and them. You know, let's try to figure out a way to get me off this contract. And the number that Gucci Mane probably told him was astronomical. You know, Gucci probably told him, man, well, look, man, I got you for another, ain't no telling how many albums he got Pooh Shiesty for. I got you for another 5 albums, man. Man, they got to give me at least about 20, 25 M's. You know, if they want me to release the all rights to, you know what I'm saying, let you go sign with another label, man, I need 25 M's. And Pooh wasn't trying to hear that. You know, that's probably the type of money Pooh ain't even got itself. And then when he went back and hollered at Yo Gotti looking like, man, get him 25 mil to sign you, and then I got to try to recruit the 25 mil to sign you, plus you want a bag when I sign you. You know, he probably told Pooh, I'll give you 15 million, you come over here. Then I got to get Gucci 25 to release you. That's 40 million. I don't think Yo Gotti was ready to go that deep in on Pooh Shiesty. You know what I mean? Given his activities on the streets and he fresh out of jail, you just did a 4-piece. You know, it's just a business move. Yo Gotti's pretty smart when it comes to business. I don't think he was willing to put up 30, 40 million and get Pooh Shiesty on his record label. That was just a little too much. Now, I believe if Pooh Shiesty could have got itself released, I believe Yo Gotti probably would have threw about 15 million to Pooh Shiesty, because you got to look at what he doing. You know what I mean? He dropped that First Day Out. That hit #1. He come, you know, then he gets certified platinum. Then he come back though with the album All on Shiesty. I'm pretty sure if Yo Gotti had him signed on that, Yo probably was going to recoup 5-10 million just off that. I believe he probably offered Pooh 20 million, because you got to think about it. You know what I mean? That First Day Out went certified platinum, #1 on the billboards. Then he come back with the All Eyes on Shiesty. A record label gonna recoup at least 5 to 10 million off that alone. So he was worth probably about a $20, $25 million sign. Be honest, Pooh Shiesty, when he's out and he's dropping music consistent, doing his features, Pooh Shiesty's worth about a $20, $25 million artist. I believe that, because you gotta realize, look at what this stuff this project he put out just did. Then you turn around and say, he one of the hottest artists in the game, if not the hardest. Then I could take him and put him on Glorilla album. That's going to have her pumped up a little more. Moneybagg Yo, that's going to get him back ringing. And all the artists that Yo Gotti deal with, we going to flood Pooh Shiesty on their albums, and it's just going to bring the whole record label up. So it's a win-win-win. But guess what? He probably told Pooh, look, man, that boy Gucci want a little too much to sign you right now, man. I don't, you know, just that's a little too much, Pooh. So this what we gonna do. Pooh like, okay, bet. I'm finna go push a line up on this boy and get up off this label. It's too much money involved. Pooh probably talking about, man, all I gotta do is get him to say I ain't signed you know what I'm saying, 1017 no more, and I'm finna go over here with Yo Gotti them and get 20-25 million. I believe that's what pushed him to pull that Draco on him. Like, bro, look, take me off this label and quit playing on me, man. Quit playing with me, man. I got a bag on the table over here, man. I'm trying to go grab this bag. Gucci like, man, look. You know what I mean? From the numbers Gucci probably was getting before Pooh Shiesty went to the feds, he looking like, man, bruh, you come home and drop 3, 4, 5 more albums up under 1017, he probably about to run up 40, 50 million. If not more. We don't really know the true numbers. You know what I mean? So I think that's what led Shiesty back against the wall. Man, look, I'm gonna have to apply some pressure. I'm damn near gonna have to act like I'm about to take his life. He gonna sign these papers though, cause I'm finna go over here to Yo Gotti, but that ain't how you do business, man. Cause you can't make somebody sign a contract under duress. You know it's not gonna be a valid contract. So that's where Pooh Shiesty messed up. But like I say, Pooh Shiesty just dropped a new album, All Eyez on Shiesty. It's a hot album. I heard a couple of songs, man. It's bangers. It's the classic Pooh Shiesty. But given the federal case he's facing right now, I don't think he should have dropped the album that's just so self-incriminating. You know, everybody calling it crash out music now. It done went from drill music to crash out music. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, you listen to this, you know what I mean? You might end up in the pen, might end up in the feds. You know what I'm saying? So this is what the game done got to. And until they use somebody's lyrics from their album and convict them of a crime that occurred using that album as you just admitted guilt and you self-incriminated yourself, these artists ain't gonna stop talking about the stuff they doing. Be honest, because if you look at the music, they're basically talking about the crimes they're committing. And until one of these artists get convicted, you know, they not gonna start rapping about that. You know, you got Young Thug slid through the cracks on his, you know, so we see they couldn't use the lyrics on Young Thug. Then we got Lil Durk. They trying to do Lil Durk like that. So we gonna see how Lil Durk stuff play out. But once they convict somebody on they lyrics for a relevant event that was a crime and the lyrics is basically admission of guilt, we really ain't gonna see this drill music stop, man. You know what I mean? It's really crash out music now. So we gonna stop calling it drill music. We gonna call it crash out music. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. This the Aaron L Show, man, and I'ma holla at you.